Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV Midday News in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyag Mofwegbe. President Bola Tinubu will be launching the Renewed Hope Police Town Hall meeting on Monday to key into the Renewed Hope Police agenda of his administration. Announcing this on Thursday in Abuja, Minister of State Police Affairs Iman Suleiman Ibrahim stated that she would be engaging stakeholders on Monday in Lagos. She added that the town hall meetings would be held not only in Lagos but across the country to afford citizens the opportunity to air their views on issues surrounding the security of lives and property in accordance with global best practices. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the federal government is set to rebuild Tudunbiri village in the Gabi local government area of Kaduna State, which was hit by a misfire from drones belonging to the Nigerian military. The Vice President disclosed this after visiting victims of the drone misfire at the Barao Diko Teaching Hospital in Kaduna State, where some of the casualties, most of whom are women and children, are receiving treatment. Kikelamo Keri has details.
According to the Vice President Shettima, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed that the Polako initiative should be Kaduna State with a complete package including houses, clinics, schools, veteran clinics, empowerment initiative and solar energy among others in Tudunbiri community as a way of compensation for the destruction caused by the drone misfire. He however directed the management of the National Emergency Management Agency to mobilize and provide adequate support to the victim of the tragedy in Tudunbiri village.
With the people and government of Kaduna State, especially the inhabitants of Tudunbiri who were affected by the unfortunate incident a couple of days ago. We will complement the efforts of the Right Honorable Speaker, but ours is a complete package as well, including houses, clinics, schools, veterinary clinics, empowerment initiatives, solar energy. It's a complete package of solutions. It's a non-kinetic response to the problems of banditry and kidnapping in the Northwest.
The Vice President, who spoke at the meeting with the leaders and other stakeholders of the community, noted that President Tinubu is worried about the tragic incident, adding that the Polako initiative is the President's unique response as a non-kinetic approach to the challenges in the Northwest.
The President approved the commencement of the Polako initiative by next month. The Polako initiative is the President's unique response as a non-kinetic solution to the challenges in the Northwest. Beneficiary states are Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and for the purpose of equity and justice, we deliberately included Niger and Benue State.
The Vice President noted that investigation is being conducted to prevent reoccurrence of the incident, and the report is expected to be submitted in the shortest possible time. Kikelamo Okeri, Global Television.
Ogun State government has announced a 50 million naira reward for anybody who could provide information leading to the arrest of the killers of Taiwo Oyekomi, former Director of Finance and Administration attached to Governor Dapo Abiodun's office, Okemoso Abiokuta. Oyekomi, aged 51, was last Wednesday, November 29, killed by gunmen at the Quito Flyover Bridge, Abeokuta, the state capital. The gunmen killed the Yoteido-born chartered accountant and made away with the huge cash. Governor Dapo Abiodun, who said that the killing of the senior civil servant left his cabinet devastated and traumatized, promised not to leave any stone unturned until the killers are brought to justice. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has condoled with the families of the victims of accidental bombing in Tudunbiri in the Gabi local government area of Kaduna State. The association also called for the exercise of restraint from political and religious groups not to capitalize on the incident for personal gain. In a statement on Thursday signed by CAN President Bishop Daniel Oko, he commended the armed forces for their unwavering commitments in the fight against terror in the country, while also calling for the equipment of the military with more accurate surveillance technologies. The federal government has directed the Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, Caroline Wurola, to pay urgent attention to the protection of the country's land, air, and water borders. Specifically directed that more personnel should be deployed to the nation's borders for effective protection. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo disclosed this during the decoration of the CG and 6 DCGs in Abuja. The minister also urged the newly decorated officers to prioritize the welfare of Nigerians in need of travel documents. The Nigerian Armed Forces have accepted full responsibility of the mishap that occurred in Kaduna as a result of drone strike. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, noted that while addressing journalists in Abuja, the military stands with all those grieving as a result of the drone strike and expressed their heartfelt condolences as a force over the losses. Kikelamo Okere tells us more.
Silence was observed in honor of the victim of Kaduna drone strike. The Director of Defense Media Operations says the military remain focused to its core mission of creating a safe and secure environment for citizens by total destruction of threats perpetrating insecurity in the country, adding that the ongoing operations are integral to the plan of focusing military pressure on the terrorists, insurgents, and extremists in order to dismantle and destroy them or force them to submission.
Stands with all those grieving as a result of the drone strike, as well as express our heartfelt condolences as a force over the losses. We pray for eternal peace for their souls. There will be need for processes to be improved upon, and this, I assure you, we will put in place to ensure that in future we have near to zero occurrences.
Reading out the operations of the military in last 1 week, the director says the operation of the week in focus resulted in 80 neutralized terrorists, while 304 of them were arrested.
Troops recovered 112 assorted weapons, over 898 assorted ammunition, the breakdown of which is as follows. We recovered 2 general purpose machine gun, 1 HK-21 rifle, 14 AK-47 rifles, 8 pump action guns, 4 locally fabricated rifles, 8 locally made pistols, over 239 rounds of 7.62mm NATO, and 431 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition. Others.
In the south-south zone of the country, troops denied insurgents of oil theft and arrested 152 perpetrators of oil theft and rescued 44 kidnapped hostages.
In the south-south, troops denied the oil theft of an estimated sum of over 345 million naira. Furthermore, troops arrested suspected criminals and cultists in Uburbra and Udupani local government areas in Cross River State and Warri South local government areas of Delta State, respectively.
The Military High Command expressed concern over the issue of civilian casualty in operations, saying the military is determined to deal with the situation properly and make improvements from the experience. Kikelamo Okere, Global Television News.
The dilemma of pesticide being used by farmers as a means of control weed and for feed preservatives leading to health challenges and death has been a major concern for stakeholders in the health sector. Stakeholders in the sector raised concern over the negative effect of the harmful pesticide usage, pulling together a dossier on registered and unregistered pesticides in the Nigerian markets, easing consumers and investors of unharmful purchases. Sharon Ajay completes the story.
The dangers posed by pesticides are of immense concern to the stakeholders in the health sector, saying it is harmful to human health and animals. While expressing worries over the dangers posed by pesticides imported into the country, the stakeholder emphasized on the legal initiative that holds corporations accountable for the well-being and health of farmers and factory workers.
Another key observation, promoting workers and consumers' rights. It was observed that there is lack of advocacy for the exploration and promotion of litigation as a means to enforce workers and consumers' rights affected by the exposure and use of hazardous pesticides. Support legal initiatives that hold corporations accountable for the health and well-being of farm and factory workers, consumers, and communities.
Adding that the dossier is being put together to bring the necessary information needed for consumers and farmers, while urging consumers not to be ignorant of the health hazardness of pesticides.
The right to know, the right to choose. People should have a right to choose the type of chemicals they want to expose themselves to, their family to, their children to. And nobody should be allowed the right to deprive them of such necessary information so that they can actually make the right information. While we would not deny the fact that pesticides are important in agriculture, we must also not be ignorant to also know the health hazards that comes with them.
Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, says it rescued and received 21,181 victims of human trafficking in 20 years. The Director General of the agency, Fatima Waziri-Azi, said this when she appeared before the Senate Committee on Social Duties for the Defense of the 2024 budget. She said the agency would try to support victims as long as they needed to be supported, noting that the process required time and a lot of money. She explained that NAPTIP provides legal, medical support, rehabilitation, and reintegration support to victims. You're watching Global TV Media News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When Midday News returns, National Para Games begin in Abuja today. The news continues shortly with details of these and other stories for you right after this short break. Please don't go away. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the Midday News from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, with Uyi Agumofwebe. On the foreign scene, Hunter Biden was indicted late Thursday on multiple counts of tax evasion. The second time this year, President Joe Biden's son has been charged by a special counsel investigating his personal and business dealings. Hunter Biden engaged in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in self-assessed federal taxes he owed for tax years 2016 and through 2019. Special counsel David Weiss said in the 56-page indictment filed in U.S. District Court in California. Biden was charged with 9 counts of failing to file and pay taxes tax evasion and filing false tax returns, the indictment shows. The new charges serve up a more accurate embarrassment for Joe Biden as he wages an uphill battle for re-election and fends off a Republican bid to impeach him on grounds that he benefited from his son's overseas business dealings. And still in North America, the government of Canada has announced that the cost of living financial requirement for study permits applicants will be raised significantly starting January 1, 2024. The government says the increase is necessary to ensure that international students are financially prepared for life in Canada, which has become significantly more expensive since the previous requirement was set. This change, it announced by Immigration Minister Mark Miller on Thursday, reflects the rising costs of living in Canada, which has outpaced the previous financial requirements set in the early 2000s. International students provide significant cultural, social, and economic benefits to their communities, but they have also faced challenges navigating life in Canada. It says the country is revising the cost of living thresholds so that international students understand the true cost of living in Canada. Miller disclosed that starting January 1, 2024, single study permits applicants will need to demonstrate that $1,635 Canadian dollars available in addition to their first year of tuition and travel costs. Let's turn to business for you. African Development Bank Group President Dr. Akinwumi Adesina has warned that a new EU carbon border tax could significantly constrain Africa's trade and industrialization progress by penalizing value-added exports, including steel, cement, iron, aluminum, and fertilizers. While addressing delegates at the Sustainable Trade Africa Conference held at the UAE Trade Center in Dubai, Adesina said with Africa's energy deficits and reliance mainly on fossil fuels, especially diesel, the implication is that Africa will be forced to export raw commodities again into Europe, which will further cause the deindustrialization of the continent. Africa, he said, could lose up to $25 billion per annum as a direct result of the EU carbon border tax adjustment mechanism. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says the federal government is considering adopting a non-interest finance window to fund key infrastructure and green projects in the nation. Speaking at the first Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), Nigeria Islamic Financial Services Board (IFSB), and International Forum on Non-Interest Capital Markets in Abuja, he noted that the non-interest financing has become a viable tool to tame Nigeria's growing debt crisis as the alternative model in unlocking significant economic opportunities and mitigating the nation's dependence on conventional borrowing. Edun emphasized the need for alternative financing mechanisms that do not rely on interests but on equity participation, and that this approach is critical in addressing the global debt crisis and promoting rapid inclusive growth. The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative says 100 billion naira has been earmarked to facilitate the deployment of CNG buses across the nation. This information was contained in a statement released on Wednesday. The initiative noted that part of the fund would be used to fund the adoption of autogas and electric vehicles, paving the way for a more sustainable and economic future in mass transit and transportation. Let's turn to sports now. Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, has stated that the second edition of the National Para Games holds potential for discovering and unearthing new talents who will represent the nation with pride in the world of para sports in the near future. The minister made the statement during a briefing in Abuja as the nation eagerly waits the opening ceremony of the 2023 National Para Games starting today till December 14 in Abuja. The National Para Games is not just about competition, he says, and winning medals. It is a platform to showcase the incredible talents and determination of athletes with disabilities. It says the country is confident that this event will unearth new stars who will go on to achieve great things for the nation on the international stage. Away from Nigeria, the Los Angeles Lakers, fueled by 30 points from Angels LeBron James, routed the New Orleans Pelicans 113-89 on Thursday to reach the final of the inaugural NBA in-season tournament. James and the Lakers will take on the upstart Indiana Pacers for the NBA Cup in Las Vegas on Saturday. James, who will celebrate his 39th birthday on December 30, was ruthlessly efficient, connecting on 9 of his 12 attempts from the floor, including 4 of 4 from three-point range. He pared up his 30 points with 5 rebounds and 8 assists in less than 23 minutes the floor. He sat out the entire fourth quarter as both teams put their starters. The Lakers had taken full control, outscoring the shell-shocked Pelicans 43-17 in the third period. Congratulations to LeBron James and his Lakers. And that's it on Global TV Media News. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platforms using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Uya Agumofwegwe. Thank you so very much for watching.